We can arrive anywhere. Arriving home somewhere is different. According to the writer Sándor Márai, Eger is the town where it is not enough just to arrive. We are welcome to arrive home here. Arriving home is the privilege not only of the people who actually live here. Visitors are also offered a sense of hominess by the size of the town, its buildings, and the locals. Eger's Baroque buildings and streets are known all over Europe, just as most people are familiar with the castle. But is it a well-known fact too that the northernmost minaret of the Ottoman Empire can be found here, or that Eger boasts to have the only camera obscura in Hungary, or that we can have a rare read of the letters from Kelemen Mikes and Mozart? Storing wine barrels is not the only purpose of the dark cellars of this town. In the Waxworks Museum, we can come face to face with the heroes of Eger and their great Turkish enemies, and we can also take a stroll along the extensive system of underground cellars. Turks took a great liking to Eger. They stayed here for 91 years, and after the reconquest of the castle, many of them settled here as Christian converts. The Baroque style of architecture dominates the look of the town. Nearly 200 outstanding works of architecture of the last centuries have survived in their intact beauty. It is worth taking note of minute details, windows, wagon wheel deflectors, statues, ornaments. The main square of the town, that carries the name of the glorious captain of the castle, Dobbo, used to serve as a market. Today, it has become one of the symbols of Eger, just at the foot of the castle, with its two groups of statues. Works by Zsigmond Kisfaludy Strobl and Alajos Strobl. The monuments commemorate the triumphant victory in 1552. The town hall is also found here, and the square is bordered by the stream on one side. It is difficult to imagine that the latter has been a threat of flooding several times. Levels of the 1878 flood are marked on 20 plaques around town. Not far from Dobbo Square stands the minaret, the northernmost monument from Turkish times in Europe. We are invited to climb the 97 spiral steps up to the balcony of the 40-meter tall minaret. A little encouragement on the way up. The view from above is spectacular. When we have descended again, treat ourselves to some sweets. Here, at the foot of the minaret, stands the sweetest museum in Hungary, Marzipania, where every single object and picture is made from sugar. The museum is located in the Bell Founding House, where we can learn about this old trade as well. Visual impressions do not end here. Walking across to the main street, let's call it the Witkovic House. The one-time vicarage now houses the Kepes Visual Arts Center. From here, it is worth walking along Széchenyi Street as far as Esterházy Square, and visiting the Basilica and the college named after the former Archbishop of Eger. Originally, the building of the Lyceum was to accommodate the planned University of Eger. Today, it functions as a central building of the Károly Esterházy College. Two museums welcome visitors in the building, the Archdiocesan Library and the Museum of Astronomy, where we can find astronomical instruments from the 18th century. One of the main curiosities of the museum is the Eger meridian line, marked by Miksa Hell. Noon in Eger is indicated by the reflection of the sun passing the center of the meridian line. The Eger Eye, that is the only camera obscura in Hungary, is located on top of the Lyceum Tower. This is the mechanism which projects the life and buildings of downtown Eger for us onto a tabletop with the help of a periscope. We can enjoy a complete 360-degree panoramic view of the town from 53 meters above, standing on the tower balcony. Stretching along the side of the Lyceum is one of the most charming streets of Eger, Kossuth Lajos Street, with valuable Baroque buildings on both sides. Several church dignitaries had their homes built here. Schools and palaces were erected besides the church and the convent. And the county hall is also located here. The wrought iron bars of the balconies and windows of the provost's palaces, as well as the iron gates of the county hall, are the works of Henrik Fasola. The Museum of Sports can be found in the courtyard of the county hall, in the building of the former prison. The collection is unique of its kind in the world. If we continue our walk along Kossuth Street, we reach the former synagogue, which houses an art gallery at present. It is worth paying a visit to the gallery if we are interested in the works of major Hungarian painters. Paintings by Bertalan Székely and the largest private collections of Munkácsi's life works have all been exhibited here. The Archbishop's Gardens, the largest park in Eger, lie in the heart of the town. We can take a rest in the great summer heat under the ancient sycamores of the 12-hectare park, created more than 2.5 centuries ago, and enjoy the sight and soothing sound of the fountain. We must make sure we don't miss taking a walk to Dobo Street and Kish, small Dobo Square. The latter is a square with a lovely atmosphere, dominated by the oldest bourgeois building, the Senator House. Subtly touching one another, several restaurants, terraces and cafes colour the square. The narrow cobblestone Dobo Street, with cafes and shops, leads us from here to the castle.
Seregek közt kik vagytok hadnagyok, keresztény hitet azt kik vallotok, igyetek be nyerni, ha akartok.
A one-time border fortress of Hungary, the Castle of Eger is the most visited, best-known historic monument in the country. Today, it houses the István Dobó Castle Museum. Parts of the ancient castle walls are still standing, and looking down from there, we get a beautiful view of the town. It was our first king, St. Stephen, who established an episcopacy here between 1001 and 1009. After the Tatar invasion from 1248, the building of a stone castle began to protect the sea. To replace the baptism chapel from the Arpadian age and the destroyed Romanesque church, a cathedral was erected in Gothic to late Gothic style. The sea lived its golden ages in the 15th century, during the Renaissance. It was claimed to be one of the most significant cultural centers of the country at the time. The Turkish troops reached Hungary in the 16th century, launching an attack on one of the strongholds of the region, Eger, in 1552. During a 5-week siege, the 2,000-strong defenders of the castle managed to force back the enemy troops, 40-fold in number. This heroic act is looked upon as one of the outstanding events in Hungarian history.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
We can enter the castle of today, the former inner castle, from Gjer Doja Square. Standing beside the main gate is the Barbican, a protruding, multi-angular loop-holed bastion, which is the only structure in the castle that was built by the Turks during the 91-year occupation. The Gothic-style Bishop's Palace dominates the courtyard of the castle. The oldest building of the castle in the town of Eger, the palace, was erected before 1475, and it was later enlarged and thoroughly reconstructed. However, the most beautiful part of the building, the Gothic arcaded corridor, has remained intact. The underground fortress system of extensive boar-watching passages are not tunnels carved out of rock, but passages that were built under the castle walls. So far, about 7,800 meters have been opened up. Leaving the casemates, let's pay our respects to the writer Géza Gardonyi at his tomb. Gardonyi, who took up residence in the town, made the castle and the great deeds of its heroes a legend in the 20th century by writing his novel, Egri Csillagok, Descent of the Crescent Moon. Today, the Castle of Eger is a protected historic building. Its permanent exhibitions teach us about the history of the castle, the underground fortress system, the casemate, the medieval methods and instruments of punishment. In the stone hall, we can see the vestiges of the destroyed cathedral. In the hero's room, there is a red marble memorial tombstone of István Dobó, the captain who led the defense of the castle in 1552. The heroes of Eger and their enemies come to life in the Waxworks Museum, located inside the castle, the Egri Képtár Art Gallery is one of the most significant art collections of the country, with Dutch, Italian, Austrian and Hungarian paintings. The Castle Museum has welcomed more than 20 million visitors in the last 50 years. It is a place where every Hungarian will come, at least once in their lives. Looking down from the castle, the sheer number of church towers indicates that Eger has been an important ecclesiastical centre for centuries. More than 1,000 years ago, an episcopate was set up here by the founder of the state, King St. Stephen, and the town has been functioning as an archbishopric see since 1804. Eger is proud to be the home of one of the largest churches in Hungary. Commissioned by the then Archbishop of Eger, László János Pirke, and designed by József Hild, the building of the basilica started in 1831 and took 5 years to complete. It took 120 years to complete the inner decoration. The fresco of the Great Dome is the work of István Takács and represents the Apocalypse. The great organ of the choir was built in the 19th century by Moser Company in Salzburg. The organ was completely renovated a few years ago, making it one of the largest church instruments in Europe with perfect peal. In high season, visitors can enjoy organ music at midday every day. The U-shaped Baroque complex of buildings, the Archbishop's Palace, that is home for the Archbishop's Collection Centre, is also a magnificent sight. The Archdiocesan Library in the Lyceum was founded in 1793 by Károly Esterházy. It owns rare books and correspondence. The only letter by Mozart in Hungary, the Buddha Chronicles, letters from Kelemen Mikes, a copy of Dante's Divina Commedia with a dedication to King Zsigmond. The library is worth a visit, if only for its fittings and its fresco. The fresco on the ceiling, painted by Lukács János Kráka, representing the ceremonial session of the Trident Synod. One of the most spectacular Baroque churches in Hungary is the Church of the Minorites. It features such architectural aspects as those of the Maria Troy Church in Vienna or the Santa Catarina Church in Prague, that were also designed by the greatest master of European Baroque. Presented to the church by Poland as gifts, the heirlooms of the Hungarian princesses St. Kinga and Blessed Jolan, as well as those of St. Hedwig, daughter of Louis the Great, can be seen here. 3 times a day we can enjoy the carillon from the tower of the Church of the Minorites. The Greek Orthodox, also Serbian church, was built in Kopf style in the 17th century by Serbian and Greek families who had fled from the Turks and settled down in Eger. The visitors are taken by surprise by the inner layout of the St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Church. Its main ornament, the 60-piece iconostasis, was made between 1789 and 1791 by the woodcarver Miklos Jankovic, who brought the Byzantine church traditions in harmony with the main features of Baroque. The town is also a place of pilgrimage. Members of the Servitor order settled down in Eger after the expulsion of the Turks. The Servitor feast of the Sorrowed Mother is a great celebration for the people in the nearby streets too. The diocese that was founded by St. Stephen is the largest in Hungary in size, and the second largest as regards the number of its congregation. The dominating reverence in Eger is Roman Catholic, but the town is tolerant towards other religions and beliefs, and several faiths have their own communities and churches here. Even sport has its own cathedral in Eger. Beckoning us from afar is the tower of the state-of-the-art swimming pool, designed by the architect Imre Makovec. Spa culture has laid down the foundations of the well-known swimming culture too. The swimming pool accommodates an 8-lane, Olympic-sized pool suitable for organizing international water polo, swimming and diving competitions, as well as a small training pool. Opposite the swimming pool spouts the St. Joseph Spring. Many come to take water from here. Owing to its low sodium content, the water is suitable to drink even for those who suffer from high blood pressure. The unique water of the thermal springs, with its radon content, serves not only today's sufferers of locomotor disorders, skeletal structure conditions and rheumatism, looking for cure, but our ancestors had already recognized the beneficial effects of the water. According to sources, a bath had opened in Eger as early as 1448. The town owes its spa culture today to the Turks, as the pure spring water elixir dates from the times of the occupation. The Turkish character of the bath has remained. The octagonal pool under the golden dome was built right above the warm water spring. It's a mystical place with a special healing power. Production of endorphins is increased by the water, whereas complete relaxation is ensured by the shades of light and the trickling sound of the spring. In the Golden Dome bath of Pasha Arnold, patients are offered therapies of the Turkish traditions as well as of modern medicine. Thermal baths, therapeutic and Turkish massage, light and sound therapies are among the treatments. Those looking for more active forms of relaxation can enjoy some sport or sunbathing in the vicinity of the Turkish bath and the Archbishop's Garden. The thermal and adventure bath of Eger, on a 5-hectare ground, has 7 pools. Eger was among the first in Hungary to be licensed to open medicinal baths in 1934. The mineral water is similar in composition and properties to that of the Turkish bath. It offers beneficial results in the case of locomotor disorders and exhaustion. The temperature of the water is between 28 and 32 degrees, which allows for sufferers of heart and vascular problems as well to use it for treatment. The Olympic-sized pool with its modern turbulence inhibitors is excellent for sport purposes. A favorite among children is the water castle, Vízivar, an adventure pool with a continuous water-changing system. Adults also have their own adventure pool. A double-domed, half-covered and half-open pool offers 14 different elements to relax and entertainment. Massaging our backs in the dögönyöző, a shower with a super strong jet of water, is not only a unique experience, but the pouring water has beneficial effects too. Visitors can refresh themselves in the sauna, infrasauna, steam room, jacuzzi and sunbeds, or whilst receiving a massage in the wellness section of the bath. Eger's acclaimed fame at home and abroad comes not only from its history or man-made and natural environment, but also from its wines. There is an extensive system of cellars under the town, some natural, but mostly built and decorated with carvings. The wine district of Eger has come to life at the foot of the Bük mountain. Both white and red wines. When making Egri Bikaver, bull's blood, the world-famous wine of the district, wines of several different grapes are blended. The legend about the Egri Bikaver goes thus. In 1552, during the siege of the castle, Captain Dobbo gave the warriors red wine to drink, and so boost their spirits when fighting the 40-fold enemy troops. On the edge of the town, rows of cellars have been created in various places. The wine cellars of and that of the Sepasenivoy are inseparable. Various legends can be linked with the origin of the name. It might have been named after one of the goddesses of the primary religion, the goddess of love, or, as some others believe, The valley might have been named in honor of a beautiful lady who lived nearby. In the last centuries, the great fame of the wines of Eger has been closely linked with the cellars of the CMAS, more than 150 in number, and carved into the tuff, where the wines are kept to mellow. Gypsy music can accompany our wine tasting tour in a natural environment. The cellars keep a cool temperature of 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, in the winter as well as in the summer. Some cellars have their own history and traditions. The Istenesh, or God's cellar, is claimed to have been the secret prayer place of the town in Turkish times. We might find a well in other cellars, or even a gently trickling stream. There is much more on offer in the CMAS than just quality wine. In recent years, the valley has been the home of festivals in spring and summer, and also during the religious holidays of Easter and Whitsun, with music and dancing in the cellars, food and wine tasting, dance houses, and folk concerts. The good reputation of Eger and its surroundings has been growing now for decades all over the world, thanks to several wine growers winning prizes at important national and international competitions. Elegance and flavor harmony ensure that the locally produced wines take a prominent place on the international palette of wines. The temperament, and thus the future of the people of a particular region, is shaped by its great wines. In Eger, the wines are affable. It's no surprise that it is the town of the Baroque. When the Turks went out, the bellies of the houses grew larger. Amiable balconies and chubby gateways were erected. It's no surprise either that Eger is a town of clergymen. It was Italian priests who brought the first vine shoots into the country. They introduced something else, too. The Latin understanding of Christianity, form and education. Where there are wise priests and good wine, life will take a conscious and gentle stream. There's great harmony between the place and the people's temperament in Eger. The intellectual temperature of a town can be taken not only in the libraries, but in the wine cellars and in people's manner as well.